Hi everyone, this is Dr. S.M. Baggio. Today we explore the life and endure work of Mathew Arnold, celebrated as a visionary poet, critic, and educational reformer whose influence continues to shape intellectual discourse worldwide. Arnold's monumental contributions provide timeless lessons in literature, criticism, and social progress. Arnold was born in 1822 in Laham, Middlesex, into a family deeply involved in education. His father, Dr. Thomas Arnold, was the famed headmaster of Rugby School, a leader in Victorian educational reforms. The environmental of intellectuals, rigor, and moral disciplines as rugby left at last impact on Matthew Arnold, nurturing both his character and aesthetic sensibilities. Entering rugby school at the age 15, Arnold cultivated friendship with the future literary figures, including Arthur Hugh Clough, later at Oxford Balliol College. He won the Newgate Prize for Poetry and immersed himself in classical literature and contemporary intellectual movements such as Tacticism. These experiences shaped his spiritual and philosophical quest, forging a path that melted learning with a quest for higher ideas. In 1851, Arnold married Francie Louise Wittmann. To support his family, Arnold accepted a position as one of a Majesty Inspector of Schools. This role involved tireless travel across England, inspecting schools, reporting on educational practices, and advocating for reform. Arnold was also spent overseas to review educational system in France, Germany, Holland, and Switzerland, shaping British educational policy and standard. Contribution as a poet. Arnold's poetry stands a clerical reflection on spiritual and intellectual uncertainty in a rapid changing Victorian era. His celebrated poems include Dover Beach, a meditation on waning faith and comfort, Hound in Love, The Scholar-Gipsy, an idealization of a life dedicated to intellectual rather than comforting. Trices, a pastoral laminating both a friend's death and the passing of an era. Other major works such as Sohrab and Rustum and Empedocles on Etna display his deep engagement with classical ideas and modern dilemmas. Arnold's influence endures strong with literary criticism. His major works, Culture and Arcanary, essays in criticism, the functions of criticism at the present time, redefine culture as the pursuit of human personification and perfection and instead on maintaining high standards for literature. Arnold was the first Oxford professor of poetry to lecture in English, democratizing access to scholarly thought. He held the critic role as poet, creating a current of true and fresh ideas and advocating the literature should nourish the moral and emotional health of both the individual and nation. Arnold, 35 years as a school inspector, laid the foundation for sweeping changes in British education. He promoted universal access to high quality education, emphasis on literature and the humanities as key to intellectual and moral growth, analysis of international education system to improve domestic policy. Arnold annual reports and influence essay became model of clear problem prose, campaigning the importance of education as a national priority. Over the years, Arnold faced professional challenges and personal losses, including death of three children. He worked relentlessly, holding post of education and educator and critic through periods of grief, travel, and administrative drudgery. His efforts, however, matured into wise, instructive reflections on society advancement. Matthew Arnold's legacy extends across generations. He shaped the development of English criticism, inspiring rigorous standards in evaluating literature. His Earth spades the overweights with the values of society and imperative of critical thinking. His principles of education reforms concentrate in model schooling worldwide. Arnold remains relentlessly relevant in a world graping of how the work is complex of tradition and modernity. His work of vision and culture, education, and critical shines the needs of accessibility, high education, and discerning truth and values never cease. We must ask ourselves how Arnold can idle debates how the values of the purpose of criticism and role of education in shaping individuals, and what lessons from Victorian challenges to modern dilemmas can we draw from his poetry, criticism, and reforms. In conclusion, Matthew Arnold's life stands a testimony to the enduring power of culture, literature, and education. His legacy challenges to strive for sweetness and light in our time, to seek excellence, nurture critical thoughts, and value beauty through the transformative force of learning. Thank you.